Oh boy, we got big news in the NHRA world. Huge fucking news. For those of you who know, my heart belongs to the NHRA and NASCAR side by side. I love the NHRA, and let's get this news started. First of all, it was announced over the weekend that Troy Coughlin Jr., one of the hottest names in the offseason, one of the biggest topics in the offseason, Troy Coughlin Jr., resigns his job on that Sealmaster team, resigns his job at Kalitta Motorsports. What a fucking topic here. What a fucking topic. First of all, it's been no secret that Troy Coughlin Jr. has had a horrifying, just fucking terrible, horrifying rookie season. There is no way around it. Troy Coughlin Jr. has been fucking terrible. I don't know if it was just because he didn't get enough experience. I don't know what the fucking deal is. I don't know, was he pushed up too soon? He has been horrible, and it's not like he's progressed from race to race. He has looked horrible from race to race to race to race. Troy Coughlin Jr. has been a fucking just big mistake by Kalitta Motorsports, and a lot of people said in the offseason, I made a video talking about it, but a lot of people said, is he getting this ride because of his name? Because of Jag Coughlin Jr., because of his father, Troy Coughlin Sr., and because of the Jag name and the fact that his family owns Jags. Is that another reason for sponsorship? Is that another reason why he got this ride? Troy Coughlin Jr. has decided that he will step down to get more experience in the Alcohol Dragster series, which for those of you who don't know, it's like the Xfinity series of the NHRA, of the Nitro world. So he's going to be getting experience in top Alcohol Dragster. I don't know if news has broken out onto which team and which opportunities he'll have, but he has been fucking horrible. And I was a big proponent back in the offseason that, one, he's getting pushed up too early, but two, he could be, the next Antron Brown. He could be the next Tony Schumacher. That could still happen. But I don't know what it was. His reaction times have been horrible. He can't keep the car straight. I just think he needs more time. I think he just needs way more time in a nitro car. He just can't keep the car straight, and that has been the biggest thing. And I heard, Pedregon, his analysis on Fox Sports 1, he thinks the same thing. Troy Coughlin Jr. just cannot keep that car straight. And when this sport, tenths of seconds determine who wins and who doesn't, if you can't keep that car straight, you're in a lot of trouble. And he's got the best tuner, one of the best tuners out there. He's got one of the best teams. He's fully sponsored. And he's getting beat. He's getting absolutely destroyed by teams that don't have sponsorships, that are on part-time schedules. It's ridiculous. But I find the timing of this to be a little bit funny because we've got the biggest race in this sport, the biggest spectacle in the NHRA this weekend, the U.S. Nationals. And not only that, Troy Coughlin Jr. is in the countdown. He's got that final spot for the playoffs, for the countdown. Now, obviously, he's not going to catch Antron Brown. He's not going to catch Leah Pritchett. He's not going to catch Steve Torrance. He's not even going to come close to getting a top 6 or 7 spot. But why not just finish this season out and gain more experience? I think that he truly felt like he wasn't doing his ride justice, and I think he felt embarrassed for that team. And it was embarrassing. He went out there, and a rookie is a rookie. But we see it in the NHRA every year. We see it in NASCAR. We see it in the World of Outlaws. We see it in all types of motorsports. A rookie's job is to just get better from week to week to week. If Troy Coughlin Jr. hadn't won a race by this point, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But he wasn't getting better from week to week to week. He just was not getting better. When you drive for Kalitta Motorsports, you've got a full sponsored car. This is unacceptable. To be as bad as you were, to get worse from week to week to week is unacceptable. And I think that Troy Coughlin Jr. stepping down to get more experience in top alcohol dragster isn't a bad idea. I just find the timing to be a little funny. Was this solely Troy's? Was this solely 100% a decision made by Troy? I think he felt pressure. I think he felt pressure that he was in the countdown, but barely, and he was going to have to go to the U.S. Nationals and fight for that 10th spot. Going to have to go to the U.S. Nationals, the biggest sport, and fight for that 10th spot. And I just feel like Troy didn't want to go to the U.S. Nationals and be an embarrassment for this team. And I just think that Troy has had a horrifying, just horrible rookie year. I mean, his rookie year really could not have gone any worse than how it's gone. Think of your expectations. Just get better week by week by week. Win rounds. Make that team proud. Make your sponsors proud. But Troy has not been good at all. He's been extremely lackluster. Can't keep his car straight. Can't finish races. Can't win rounds. Can't do anything. And at some point, it's just time to give it up. Go back to the top alcohol dragsters and get some experience. He got pushed up way too far. Now, the little bit of racing he did do outside of being in this top fuel dragster for Kalitta Motorsports, he's won races. He just has won them in lower divisions. So go back to the top alcohol dragsters. Maybe you'll get another chance. I don't know, what his chances will be in a couple of years from now, how good he'll be, but he is horrible. But I'm really excited about this because you talk about a guy like Troy Coughlin Jr., probably as bad a rookie season as one of the worst rookie seasons we've ever seen by a rookie. But then you go to a guy who's going to be filling in for Troy Coughlin Jr. in a Richie Crampton. And I said it before, Richie Crampton a couple years ago was my favorite top fuel dragster driver. Richie Crampton had a fucking phenomenal rookie year. We're going to the U.S. Nationals, the biggest spectacle in the NHRA, the biggest spectacle in drag racing, the U.S. Nationals, the Daytona 500, the Indy 500 of drag racing. And Richie Crampton won that in his rookie year. Richie Crampton won the Daytona 500 of the NHRA in his rookie season, and he's getting a chance to drive for Kalitta Motorsports, taking over for Troy Coughlin Jr., and it's going to be at the U.S. Nationals. This is giving me absolute chills and goosebumps right now. I'm a huge fan of Richie Crampton. Unfortunately, Morgan Lucas Racing had to shut down their doors, and Richie Crampton just got fucked over because of that. I mean, Morgan Lucas Racing, we see it all the time in all sorts of racing, NASCAR with Red Horse Racing and Brad Keselowski Racing. We see it in IndyCar. Morgan Lucas Racing could no longer wanted to fund that race team, and Richie Crampton, who was going to be a star in this sport, just got completely fucked over and blown over in the wind over this whole thing. So now Troy Coughlin Jr. decides to step down, and here we go. They decided to call up the Australian Richie Crampton, one of my favorite drivers, a damn good guy. And man, am I excited to see him race at the U.S. Nationals. I mean, what would be the icing on the cake here for Richie Crampton if he went out and actually won at the U.S. Nationals? But let's see what happens. But Richie Crampton, I think, a solid selection. A couple of other guys that came to mind when I first heard about this news on Saturday. The old-timer Larry Dixon, who I'm also a big fan of, my favorite top fuel dragster of all time. Larry Dixon came to mind. But solid choice with Richie Crampton, an all-around good guy, and I think Richie Crampton will jump into that car and have success. But again, overall, Troy Coughlin Jr. has been a huge disappointment. What is the future of Troy Coughlin Jr.? I don't know, but the critics of this decision by Kalitta Motorsports were 100% correct. He's getting this nod into the top fuel dragster world to drive for the Sealmaster team because of this Coughlin last name, because of the sponsorship he brings with Jags, and the relationships that his family has created in drag racing. And Troy Coughlin Jr., quite frankly, has had a horrifying season. I couldn't think of a worse rookie season than the season Troy Coughlin Jr. has done. Race after race after race. Horrible qualifying, horrible reaction times, horrible round wins. Hasn't come close to setting any records. Hasn't come close to doing anything. He has not been impressive at a single race this year. We're one race away. We're already into September. We're already into Labor Day at the U.S. Nationals. And Troy Coughlin Jr. hasn't had one, not just good race, not just great race. Troy Coughlin Jr. hasn't even had one average race. And his decision, I think he was extremely overwhelmed. I think Troy just became overwhelmed. Week in and week out, Kalitta Motorsports, a fully funded Top Fuel dragster, is pouring their heart and soul and giving you everything that a driver would want. And you don't have anything to give back. Reaction times, trouble keeping the car straight. I can't pinpoint one single thing, but when I watch Troy Coughlin Jr. up against Antron Brown, Troy Coughlin Jr. up against Leah Pritchett, up against Steve Torrance, up against the best of the best, you watch a race by Antron Brown, who is arguably the best Top Fuel dragster driver we've had over the last 3-4 years. You watch one of the greatest Top Fuel dragster drivers of all time, Tony Schumacher. You watch Leah Pritchett, who is having a phenomenal year. Steve Torrance, who is having a phenomenal year. You watch their runs, and they're so clean. They do everything so right. That's why they're fighting for the championship right now. And Troy Coughlin Jr. is just not doing a single thing right. He's being coached by some of the best. His family members, Jag, even if he is in a pro stock. His father, Kalitta himself. Phenomenal teammates. A world-class tuner. And when you look at his recent races, you cannot look at tuning. It's not tuning. It's not setups. I don't think Troy is comfortable in that car. I don't think Troy 100% knows what to tell his tuner, because a big part, a lot of people want to say, okay, Leah Pritchett, Todd Okuhara, they're a great pairing. But what it comes down to is Leah Pritchett giving Todd Okuhara phenomenal information as to what that car needs when they're qualifying, similar to with Jimmy Johnson and Chad Canales. Chad Canales is one hell of a fucking crew chief. But what it comes down to is Jimmy Johnson has to go back to Chad Canales and say, hey, Chad, we need this in the car. And I don't think Troy Coughlin Jr. has the leadership that it takes right now. I don't think he has the ability to go to his tuner and say, the car needs this, and if you give me this, I'll be faster. Troy Coughlin Jr. just does not look like he's ready. Not ready. Being called up too soon. Go back to the top alcohol dragster world, which is like the Xfinity series of Top Fuel, and get some experience. But in the meantime, as a huge Richie Crampton fan, I am excited to see him run the rest of this season in that Sealmaster car, especially the U.S. Nationals, a race that he won. Richie Crampton won the Indy 500 of the NHRA in his rookie season. Rookie of the year. You go from Troy Coughlin Jr., maybe one of the worst rookie seasons we've ever seen from a fully funded car, to Richie Crampton, who had one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen, winning the U.S. Nationals, being competitive, followed it up, winning the Gator Nationals, I believe, in his sophomore year. Richie Crampton's a winner. Got fucked over by what happened at Morgan Lucas Racing. He's finally getting a shot. Maybe this can turn into a full-time deal, but I think Richie Crampton is the right decision. And again, Troy Coughlin Jr., the wrong decision. So let me know what you guys think of any of this NHRA news. Some of the biggest news. Troy Coughlin Jr., one of the hottest topics, if not the hottest topic, in the NHRA offseason. And another hot topic was Richie Crampton not having a ride. And there were two names that came to my mind when we found out about Troy Coughlin Jr. Saturday. Richie Crampton 1 and Larry Dixon 2. And again, I don't know what the motivation for Troy was. Why not just finish out the rest of your season, Troy? Why not just finish out the rest of your season? You're going to make the countdown. All you had to do was go into the U.S. Nationals and have a solid year. If you had not made the countdown, maybe give it up. But why not run the U.S. Nationals? Why not run the biggest race in your sport? Why not just wait for this season to be over? There's only a few months left. And then talk with Doug Kalitta. Then talk with the people at Kalitta Motorsports and say, you know what? I need to give it up. Strange. But Troy Coughlin Jr. comes off as being just a little strange, if you ask me, myself, and I. But let me know what you guys think of this down below. Huge news in the NHRA world. We will be reporting on way more NHRA news on this channel as the countdown gets closer and closer and closer to the championship. This Top Fuel Championship, which we will make another video about, is really getting good between Antron Brown, Steve Torrence, and Leah Pritchett. And if you've been following this season along from the beginning, there has been high waters and tension between Steve Torrence and Leah Pritchett. So if Antron Brown can't run away with this like a lot of people think he will, you could see a lot of tension between those two teams. So let me know what you guys think of this down below. And as always, I will see you in Victory Lane.